Hello, YouTube Internet. I'm going to capture an extraordinary declaration from a woman. She calls herself Cindy K. Courier. I've been keeping track of this person to some extent in relation with Kevin Annett, and she has dissociated herself from Kevin Annett. Not exactly sure why. I think she resented the fact that he said people had been arrested for ritual child abuse and murder, and it didn't happen. And I can see the upset with that. Although I have always said that Kevin Annett, like she, is a blueprint for our birthing of being grown up, well, not even grown up, of just being been born. And I'm going to just let her talk for the next 4 minutes, and then a declaration following this little introduction she gives. And I am just absolutely thrilled. It is a fabulous dissertation on the way I feel about what it means to be a human being at this time. And I suppose we could say we have an opportunity to overcome 6,000 years of recorded history of bullshit and crap and deception. And she outlines it really well. What I really like about this first segment of 4 minutes of when she speaks is that her assertion that we have not been born yet. And this is a fact. And even biblically, she kind of kiboshes, I think she kiboshes biblical stuff. I actually do believe that biblical stories, which are totally misinterpreted, were revealed to us by people of insight and understanding. Kabbalah has made its stab at it as well. They see the Aht, or the Jewish alphabet, as they're primarily numbers that reveal to us the nature of what we're involved in existence, what it means. It doesn't make a judgment, it says what it means. And what I've understood through the study of Kabbalah is that Eden hasn't happened. The Adam hasn't happened. The person that is supposedly Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden hasn't happened. And she confirms this, and this is fabulous. And I'm just going to play this now. Listen to this for the first 4 minutes.
Well, good morning, everybody. I woke up with a few things on my mind this morning, and I am getting messages. I'm getting, phone messages through the number that I provided. I'm getting emails. I'm getting messages through the a couple other websites that I have. And the messages, for the most part, ask, when are we going to get our money? When is the RV going to happen? When is debt relief going to come to reality? When are these arrests going to take place? And I have told you over and over, I've said many times in these videos, consistently throughout the last 2 years, exactly when that's going to happen. And y'all keep asking me. So I want you to hear me now. I'm going to, just state it as plainly as I can. We will get that stuff when we're safe. And we will be safe when the people, and that means you, that means me, finally take responsibility for our lives and our well-being. And we won't be able to keep ourselves free unless we can get ourselves free. We have not grown up yet. In fact, we're not even born yet. We're like little children still looking to mommy and daddy, still looking for some, we say we want to be sovereign. We say we're sovereign. We say we don't need a government. But yet we're looking for someone else, someone external to us, to tell us when the RV is going to happen, when the global reset's going to happen.
Okay, I'll just interject just briefly. She's absolutely correct. She's now interpreting this as like looking for a big daddy to take care of us. Yes, the feeling of taking care of us. But it's way beyond being taken care of, I believe. It has to do primarily with realizing the true power we have in ourselves. We're not born in the sense that yes, it manifests itself in looking for someone to take care of us and be the big sugar daddy or whatever that is. But it really comes down to what I've always said, is recognizing our innate power, which is our ability to act our conscience. We have not grown up, we have not been born, because we do not want to take responsibility on doing the right thing. But she's right on the money. She doesn't articulate it the way I like to see it, but let's keep going.
Y'all still have the idea that there's this hierarchical being or some big mommy or daddy that's going to come down and hand it to you. And some of you think, I'm going to hand it to you, and I've got news for you. I'm not. And I'm doing my best to make sure no one else does either, because if we had it now, we would destroy ourselves. We would destroy the earth. How do I know that? Because I'm still seeing the people, you all buying into the big lies. The great big giant lies. Who's buying into the lies? The Christians, Muslims, the Buddhists, the Hindus, the New Agers, the Reiki masters, the energy healers, the yoga teachers. You're buying into the lie of spirituality, the lie of psychology, and the lie of philosophy. All of those things are designed to keep us ungrounded, to keep us someplace other than on the earth where we belong.
Okay, I'll interject again. I like what she's saying, but really what she is missing from my perspective is that's beyond saying about the Buddhists, the Christians, the whole bunch, the whole lot. Yeah, throw them over the edge. What I have understood about myself is that the power that she is not articulating, which I wish she would, and I think she is underneath, I mean, she's a woman of conscience, that we can invoke, we can absolutely eradicate all the misdeeds by being good people, which is her natural law, by actually exercising our ability to do the right thing. This is something we all know. She calls it natural law, I call it conscience. And she's articulating it, but she's placing it on what? Exposing the bastards. I mean, écraser l'infâme. Voltaire did it as well. It doesn't work. You need to go to your source, which is our ability, the innate quality we have as human beings to be decent, good, that goodness that actually makes everything work. The goodness makes everything work. And she is expressing this by saying, don't follow this bullshit. Yes, of course. Anyway, yeah, I'll let her finish.
We're like little babies, still born in the birth water, still in the womb. We've got to graduate to natural law. Now,
we have to graduate to natural law, people. What I'm saying is, it's not some incredibly complex situation and a dissertation, which I'll actually attach. She says fabulous things. It is basically follow your goddamn conscience. This is what I've been saying, and she's now building a case, which is brilliant, actually. I love to have a platform, to have an infrastructure of how we can accomplish this in the real world. But fundamentally, it goes back to each individual realizing their true potential in being in invoking the greatest part of us, which is to act our conscience.
some of you said, well, you're writing law, you're writing natural law. I'm writing down what already is. I've written down what already is. I didn't create what is. I wrote down what is. It's the law of the land. I'll put a link to that below this video. Read it, learn it, because it is what is required for survival. Humanity is at a place right now where if we don't grow up, if we don't birth ourselves, which we've never done yet, we're not going to survive.
Okay, yes, absolutely. This is fabulous. We have not been birthed yet. And she actually equates this in the sense of natural law and maritime law, the land of the land and the land of the sea. And we have separated very cleverly. We've been undermined by the land maritime law to actually take the statutes and the ordinances that come from up above from the captain of the ship. I've never voted for the captain of the ship. And what she's referring to is we have an innate ability and a quality. And I'm just going to pause now for a second. And she articulates in a list all the aspects of what it is in the real world that we have to fight.
Oh, I do want to read one section from the Law of the Land. Statements of clarification. The preamble says God is not a deity to be revered as a supreme being. God is the first source of life essence and is embodied with us. And we are expressions of God, heirs of creation. Okay, I'm going to go down to spiritual practice. Promoting notions of karma and reincarnation undermines forgiveness and the eternal nature of humanity and is therefore inconsistent with natural law. Channeling invites deception and influence by unembodied entities and violates natural law. Meditation practices that utilize breathing techniques to manipulate human energy and raise kundalini invite demonic presence and consent for black ops military covert abduction and experimentation and therefore violate natural law. Yeah. You thought it was like these wonderful angelic beings helping you. No. We've got a black ops the military industrial complex has created these, sometimes we call them artificial entities that pose as angels, pose as spirit beings, and they do not like you. They are not our friend. Okay, I'll keep reading. Divination, augury, sorcery, and fortune telling, such as omens, tokens, animal signs, astrology, palm reading, crystal gazing, tarot, mind reading, invite demonic influence and violate natural law. Shamanism and animistic folk magic invite demonic influence and violate natural law. The use of totems, spirit beings, sacred objects, animal guides, or any form of augury facilitates connection with demonic entities and violates natural law. Palm reading is a form of divination and violates natural law. Gematria and numerology are forms of divination and violate natural law. Divination with holy books invites demonic influence and violates natural law, and yes, that includes the Bible. Divination by reading human or universal energies invites demonic deception and violates natural law. Those who practice this sometimes call themselves empaths. Spiritual energy healing practices such as Reiki invite demonic influence and violate natural law. Chakra manipulation is a form of energy work which opens one to demonic possession and violates natural law. Word energy spells and mantras invoke demonic presence and violate natural law. Saying namaste, my soul recognizes your soul, is a form of spell casting and violates natural law. Saying amen invokes Amun-Ra, the god of Jupiter, for Rome, or Zeus for Egypt, and violates natural law. Extraterrestrial propaganda invites consent for black ops military covert abduction and experimentation, and therefore violates natural law. Sun gazing is a form of sun god worship and invites demonic presence and is therefore a violation of natural law. Promoting witchcraft invites consent for black ops military covert abduction and experimentation and therefore violates natural law. Interacting with unembodied entities invites consent for black ops military covert abduction and experimentation and therefore violates natural law. The problem with spiritual practices is the deception. You summon that which you do not recognize. Blessings are words chosen to cast spells. Therefore, a blessing violates natural law. Celebrating holidays provides consent to Satanist ritual human sacrifice days and violates natural law. Casting magic spells conjures demons and violates natural law. Promoting spell-casting apparatuses such as magic wands, crystals, mandalas, incantations, chanting, etc., knowingly or unknowingly, is harmful and violates natural law. The use of occult symbolism and archetypes to manipulate others violates natural law. Sacred geometry spellcasting violates natural law. Using art, music, and linguistics to covertly alter states of consciousness in others violates natural law. Ancestor veneration, a spiritual practice based on a belief that spirits of deceased family members protect and take an interest in the affairs of the world, invites demonic influence, and violates natural law. Animal veneration, a spiritual practice based on animal worship rituals, invites demonic presence and violates natural law. Idolatry, worship of an idol or a physical object as a representation of God, invites demonic influence and violates natural law. Using plants, herbs, alcohol, or other substances, natural or otherwise, to alter states of consciousness, invites demonic deception and implied consent for Black Ops military covert abduction and experimentation, and therefore violates natural law. Pineal gland. Third eye manipulation practices invite demonic possession, deception, and implied consent for Black Ops military covert abduction and experimentation, and therefore violate natural law. DNA manipulation and ascension practices invite demonic presence and implied consent for Black Ops military covert abduction and experimentation, and therefore violate natural law. Religious practices. Marriage is an occult ritual practice that converts couples into agents of the state under the law of the sea, and therefore is a violation of natural law. All religious rites and ceremonies are forms of occult magic and violate natural law. The human body is not a temple, a dwelling place for spirit entities, demons, or deities. Referring to the body as a temple violates natural law. Christian churches often use sacred geometry, architecture, artwork, and ritual to attract demons. Worshippers invite demonic possession and therefore violate natural law. Practicing earth-centered religion, nature worship, and veneration of natural phenomena invites demonic influence and therefore violates natural law. Use of sacred geometry, architecture, archetypes, artwork, and ritual to attract unembodied entities invites demonic influence and violates natural law. Summoning disembodied entities violates natural law. For example, declaring hallelujah constitutes surrender of innate human power to celestial beings. Hallelujah is based on the Hebrew words hallel and jah. Hallel means to shine or give off light by celestial bodies. Jah means the Lord or Jupiter. The meaning of hallelujah is the shining light of Jupiter. Another example is Amen, which invokes Amun-Ra, the god of Jupiter for the Romans, or the sun god Zeus for the Egyptians. For example, Jah is in Jehovah, or Jehovah is Hebrew for penis. Hova in Hebrew means receptacle, as in vagina. Jehovah means penis vagina. Glorifying, promoting, or celebrating unembodied entities violates natural law. Praying to unembodied entities violates natural law. Promoting the surrender of human power to deities is harmful and therefore violates natural law. Use of religion to harness, humiliate, manipulate, influence, or control others violates natural law. So that is important to grasp and internalize. And I'm going to leave you with that now. Okay. Have a good day.
This is a postscript and just a very brief synopsis of what I think is going on here with this lady called Cindy K. Courier. She has outlined, in essence, the nature of conformity. The points that she has just articulated in this dissertation is the nature of conformity, something that I reel against my essence, my being as a sovereign person, as an individual, as a person loving the what feels to be this when we are born and the curiosity opens up, what it is that we're participating in. And I would just add to this part that there is an extraordinary mystery that we are involved in. And she calls something natural law, which I call conscience, and is something that is innate within all of us. And I think natural law may have been misinterpreted to some extent as the survival of the fittest. I don't think she means this. If it's that part, if natural law refers to the dog-eat-dog survival of the fittest, but I don't get this impression at all. We are actually part of a mystery, and the idea of the omnipotent being is just a metaphor that acknowledges we haven't got a clue. Ultimately, we do not have a clue. People, we have no understanding, and we create icons and edifices of brilliance and understanding that have no clue. We are just trying to project this despair, this innate despair we always feel of not knowing. Well, that get real, become part of the rest of the cosmos. We haven't got a clue. It's a goddamn mystery. And I love this woman, actually. She's doing a fabulous synopsis of what I call conformity. As a painter, an artist, I am not going to be part of the conformity that has built 6,000 years of consensual history, which is the destruction of our psyche ultimately, the culture of death that has been created around 6,000 years of this arbitrary. It is actually has no connection to us, what she calls natural law. We are controlled under a system of governance that is maritime law. The captain of the ship runs the show. And this makes a lot of sense to me, why we've gone amok. And in order for us to fix what is broken, we need to actually become more open to the possibilities of what it means to be you and me and each other, to see what it actually means, because we haven't got a clue. We're not born. And the idea of the Bible, what I understand through my study of Kabbalah is not a judgment. She's not understanding this part of exploration. Like, I am a painter, an artist. I am open to everything. And what I have understood through the exploration, the biblical stories are actually equations. They are not stories like trying to tell us what to do or what not to do. There are revelations about the nature of our existence. And it's just a small point. It's a moot point. But I love this. I love the rules or the laws governing natural law. It's our conscience, people. It's just our bloody conscience. Act your goddamn conscience. And we'd be able to fix this because we'd become decent human beings and not rely on the reptiles and the hyenas to take over the show. We'd do it ourselves, and we'd cooperate with one another.